If I told you to go play right now, would you even know what to do? If you are getting frustrated with the slog of your everyday tasks and life, an important question to ask yourself is, when did you stop having fun? Chances are working on your goals and duties stopped being fun when you stopped playing. When I refer to playing, I mean doing those things that make us engaged and curious, feel present and satisfied. And each of us has a specific way we like to play, something that uniquely lights us up as individuals and helps us get on with our day-to-day tasks and responsibilities. This unique mode of playing is called our play personality. Play personalities were first identified by Dr. Stuart Brown, a psychiatrist who noticed that play was a critical part of development and happiness. We can't ignore what we need to do day in and day out, but we can use our play personalities to alter how we do things so that productivity becomes a game and not a prison. In this video, I'm gonna go through the 8 basic play personalities and walk you through how to find your own, as well as give you some tips for how to integrate play into your everyday life. So I'm going to go through these in a second, but before we get into all of that, I do want to give you a list of questions that I think you should try to answer before you even know anything about play personalities. So pause the video, take a screenshot, answer the questions on the screen as best as you can. We'll come back to these at the end of the video and analyze your answers, but it's best if you answer before you know what the personalities are, so it doesn't influence you to be one archetype or the other once you know sort of what they mean. So I'm going to leave this on the screen and it is going to disappear in 3, 2, 1. Okay, back to the play personalities. So let's start with the collector. I've drawn a couple of cards here for the collector. So the collector plays by creating a set of something. These can be sets of items or sets of experiences. These are the kind of people who like to 100% video games, right? Or they like to engage with the collection that they have, like share their fine or rare collection, either with other people or with family or with fellow collectors. They get a lot out of the act of creating sets of things. And I drew little playing cards here. The icons here are partially from Dr. Brown's website, but also from Ali Abdaal's book. So I first heard about the play personalities in Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity, and he uses the collector with playing cards, and so that's why I drew the playing cards there. Also because I collect cards. This is like a fun fact about me, but I collect tarot cards and then I have a small playing card collection as well. So it's very related to what I like to do, which we will get to later. But that is basically the collector. You might be the collector if you notice that you feel really accomplished after you complete everything or create a set of everything, or if you have little collections that you like to build and like to grow and like to share with other people. Next is the competitor. And the competitor is really straightforward. The competitor plays through games that have rules that they can win. These could be single player video games or team sports. Even being a fan of something could count as being a competitor because you're so invested in the fan culture of that competition. They also really enjoy being under pressure. The thrill of the game is really fun. So I love spotting competitors because, like, when you're playing games with friends, first, games with rules that they can win. If the game has no rules or is chaotic, a competitor will get so frustrated because they want to win so bad. So you can spot a competitor often if they get frustrated when there's a lack of rules that they can sort of work within and beat. And then also they enjoy being under pressure. So sometimes competitors will be those people, or maybe you find this in yourself, where you have, 10 minutes to go on completing a project and you've only done like 50% of the work, but somehow you're able to get it all done in the last 10 minutes or something like that. They enjoy that sort of artificial pressure or literal pressure. Just like sports teams when they are 10 minutes away from finishing a game, for example, and they pull it out at the last minute. The next one is the creator or artist. I'm realizing that yellow might be hard to read there, but trust me, it does say creator/artist. And I think putting both creator and artist here is important because the creator and artist is a person who plays by making things. This can be arts and crafts, or it can be other stuff. You might be an inventor or a painter. So creator and artist are both keywords here. Having tangible outcomes is really important for a creator or artist type because they like to have something that they can hold at the end of the day, that they can say, like, that is proof that I did that. That is proof that I created. So if you're trying to integrate this into your personality or your productivity, you might look for things that have tangible outcomes, that maybe you make a report on what you did at the end of the day and that sort of describes your contribution, right? That might be really fulfilling. They also like taking things apart and putting putting them back together, sort of in that inventor vibe, which makes tasks or projects where there's like a puzzle involved or some kind of like, we need to engineer this item or product to work in the right way, really, really rewarding. Next is the director. Basically, the director, and this is what Dr. Brown says on the website, the director plays by planning. So if you watch this YouTube channel, you like to plan, you might be a director. These people might like setting up parties or planning projects. Basically, they take a leadership role in whatever needs getting done, and they really enjoy having that power to accomplish things by the perfect plan or the perfect setup. Next is the explorer, and the explorer plays by seeking out novelty. This novelty provokes their imagination and engages them. Exploration can be physical or mental. I think sometimes we think about explorers as basically what I've drawn here, somebody with a compass that's sort of navigating like through a forest or like, something like that. People who like to travel or who do like to explore nature in that way definitely fit here. But this can also be somebody who likes to explore concepts in great depth or who likes to explore fictional worlds in great depths, right? Basically people who like to learn a lot, who like to consume knowledge. Lovers of nonfiction probably belong here. The sort of people who really like to research new ideas and topics or travel and see something they've never seen before really belong here. The next personality type is the Joker. And this one should be really self-explanatory. You guys know the Joker likes to play by doing anything and everything in a goofy way. Comedians or class clowns are a really great example of this. They basically try to make things funny and try to make people laugh. So they're really motivated by laughter and silliness. The next one is the kinesthete. You might be a kinesthete if you like to play by doing anything physical or moving your body. A lot of people who are the kinesthete, I also find they learn by doing. So oftentimes if you're in a situation where you're like reading instructions, but you just can't grasp it or for whatever reason, and instead you need to just do it in order to understand it, you might be a kinesthete. I also think people who feel like running or working out is relaxing and centering for them might be a kinesthete. So think about those things when you're trying to type yourself as well. And the last one is the storyteller. The storyteller likes to engage their imagination specifically through narrative. So narrative is key to the way that they play. Lots of writers or cartoonists, novelists belong as the storyteller. I know that can sound a little bit like the creator/artist who likes to make beautiful things and have tangible outcomes. The storyteller can feel a lot like that, but you have to use this item of narrative to separate the two. So a cartoonist is definitely an artist, but what they're getting out of it and what they find fun is creating a narrative, right? So that's sort of the difference between these two things. And then imagination is also a keyword in explorer because the explorer is looking for novelty and is looking for new things. That imagination is less like in their head and more out in the world. They're looking for really inspiration is the word to use here instead of imagination. So this imagination, like this person goes back into their mind to find the imagination that they want to seek. And then they create that and build worlds, like creators, like directors, movie makers, screenwriters, those kinds of people. They like to tell stories. One easy way to incorporate a little more play into your life is via decorative journaling. Decorative journaling is actually such a good way to bridge productivity and play. People online obviously make insanely beautiful planner spreads all the time, and Hubman and Chubgirl makes doing that super easy. Hubman and Chubgirl make these beautiful bespoke planner boxes and kits. This month, they actually sent me over one of their starter kits, which I think are new, or at least they're new to me, and these are awesome. They include everything you need to set up a journal spread super quick and easy, allowing anyone to create a beautiful spread in minutes. All right, let's see what's in here. Oh, okay. So this says ready to start your journaling adventure. I put together this special set with everything you need to start a creative journal. You can make cute journal spreads with our stickers and tools, allowing you to keep track of your life, plan future events, most importantly, be creative, reduce stress, and have fun. And then it lists everything that is in the package. And if you scan the QR code here, you get access to their tutorial page for this box, which shows you how to create a bunch of different beautiful spreads, like step by step. It's super great. They give you a pair of sticker tweezers, which is so underrated as a product that you need when you are starting like a creative journaling habit.
They give you the journal that you need and also a grid spacing cheat sheet. And this is one of the most comprehensive grid spacing cheat sheets I've ever seen. This side shows you how to do things vertically and this side shows you how to do things horizontally. They do include like deco stickers as well as functional stickers. So lots of cool stuff for you if you're just getting into journaling. This becomes like a really, really good handy set. I'm gonna pull together a quick weekly spread with this kit right after I finish unboxing, so I'll throw that up on the screen now. This is the Honey Lavender Starter Box if you want to pick it up. As you can see, it just takes a few minutes to pull together something really fun and creative. If you want to snag one of these starter kits for yourself, head to my link in the description down below and enter my code Rachelle15 for 15% off. Thanks again to Hubman and Chebgirl for sponsoring, and let's get back to the video. Okay, so now that we have a good understanding of the play personalities, I want to go through with you the questions I had you ask yourself. And I want to talk a little bit about what each of these questions are, and I will answer them for myself so you can sort of get an idea of how to answer them for yourself. I'm going to be using this fancy blue color, which is one of the markers I didn't use for the play personalities. Kind of fun. Your girl loves to use her new markers. I wonder what that means about my play personality. Let's find out. Okay, so the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what situations/activities do you gravitate towards when you have complete freedom to choose what you do? So for me, I often, if I just have like an afternoon where I'm not doing anything, I'll often play a video game, I'll watch a movie. Sometimes I also like to write. Normally, when we're writing, I'm writing poems or fiction, which is sort of an important distinction between writing poems or fiction versus writing a vacuum cleaner manual or whatever people who don't like to write poems or fiction like to write. Articles, journalists, you know, you guys exist. The second question is, what did you do for fun as a kid? Now, I really wasn't a very active kid. I mostly read and wrote and was very solitary, but I also really liked playing with dolls, like way longer than I thought I should as a kid. I remember being like 10 and being so embarrassed that I still love to play with Barbies. But regardless, I like to set up little lives for them and set up their houses and things. I got a lot out of like placing furniture in Barbie doll houses, so I'm gonna write that down because it is totally valid, even if when I was like a kid, I thought I was doing it for way too long. Also, I think Dr. Brown, with this question, he's trying to ask what you did before like the age of 8. I was writing from very early on. I don't know if I was writing before the age of 8, but I was definitely reading a lot and playing with a lot of dolls. I will also add, like as a teenager, what I really liked to do was be in fandom. That was where I spent like a lot of my time, like on Tumblr, like, you know, debating things about like Harry Potter theories. So I was also there when I was like a kid, but not quite as young as Dr. Brown is asking you to think of when you're going through this. And then, what are experiences when you felt your very best? Honestly, I feel my very best when I am usually out doing something new with friends, like going to a movie or trying a new restaurant. When I'm alone, I like to be, again, writing. I always come back to writing and organizing. I really like to organize like my notes or tasks. Kind of nerdy, but whatever, you're on a productivity YouTube channel here. What did you expect? One of the things I also know that I like about going out with friends and trying something new, like a new bar or restaurant, I like getting dressed up. I like looking nice. I don't always do this. Sometimes I like forget to do this and I'll go out looking very frumpy. But lately I have been trying to put a lot more effort into that, and I really like the creative act of just like getting a new outfit. It looks nice. What are experiences that have felt engaging and satisfying? What comes immediately to mind here is playing games with friends or writing. But also researching. Like if I'm interested in a topic, I like to research it. What activities cause you to lose track of time? Absolutely researching. We just talked about that. If I am interested in something, I am heads down, like not looking at the clock, absolutely devoted to learning everything I can about that topic. And then lastly, and this one is mine, if you were to plan something fun to do with a friend, what would you do? So if I were to plan something to do with a friend, I would probably plan for us to go to a restaurant or a bar. Like say I was picking them up from the airport and we had to like do something that night. I would plan for us to go to like a restaurant or a bar in a cool part of town, do some sort of activity together. And most of the time I would choose something that would be like new that neither of us had done before, or that maybe we'd done once. Of course, I would love to just sit and talk with them also and sort of like get to know what they've been up to. So, okay, these are some ways that you can answer these questions. I hope giving my answers has been explanatory. Now, how do I tell what my type is based on these things. So right away, what pops out to me are the explorer and creator trait with a little bit of storyteller thrown in there. So for example, I think trying something new here, researching is here, trying something new, and then just getting to know a friend. These are all things that relate to the explorer trait. I also really love traveling. I just don't get the opportunity to do it as much as I would like to, which does not mean that I don't get to do it none, but traveling is definitely a big thing that I like to do for fun. So explorer is definitely a top category for me, but we're also noticing the theme of writing here. So writing can be related to the storyteller or to the creator and artist. Of course, it can be related to any action that you're good at or anything that you do that you love to do can be related to any of these things. But for me, I notice it being related to the storyteller and then also to the creator and artist. So the storyteller in me really likes to explore narrative with movies. I like to write fiction. I like, when I talked about playing with dolls when I was a kid, I used to like playing with dolls because I would set up their sort of lives and act out stories with them. So writing stories, reading fiction, playing with dolls. I'm seeing this a lot here. Writing for sure here, but that's not universally storytelling writing. Yeah, so I think storyteller is another big one of mine. And the reason I wanted to pull the creator and artist in here is because I want to show you how the things that you like to do can often belong to multiple different types, right? So I cited writing poems or fiction as something that I like to do. Now, when I'm writing fiction, storytelling is definitely what I am getting after. But when I'm writing poems, I consider this an artistic endeavor. I'm not necessarily looking for something that makes narrative sense. Of course, poetry can and does often make narrative sense, but poetry is like the renegade child of the writing community and the arts. It is the most like artistic, I find. So creating beautiful prose. Poems also have you can write poetry with a lot of structure or very little structure. And I find the ones that have a lot of structure are like a little puzzle. You're trying to fit certain syllables and certain lines and certain concepts in. So it's very much an artistic experience writing a poem versus writing a fiction where I'm maybe most focused on the narrative. So I do see that in here as well. And I also know that when I like to relax, I didn't write this down, but when I like to relax, I find doing like collaging or like looking at pictures or art really helps me. If we go back to this, we can see that we really like tangible outcomes, which is cool. And obviously, like, look at this. Like, this is this is like what an artist would do. This is not what like a director would do, right? Creating all these colored and wheels and stuff like this. So I would say artist is a subset. Obviously, I'm also like on YouTube creating, so there's a way that connects. Although I find that like researching and storytelling is often more related to my YouTube work. And then lastly, I mentioned that I relate with the collector a lot up here. I do love my collections. When I play video games specifically, I am the kind of person who's like, I'm totally gonna 100% this game. I almost never have time to 100% a game, but I like to collect all of the sort of like trinkets and experiences in a video game before I move on. I will also say like fandom is kind of like I find that's like kind of a collector-y behavior because what you're doing a lot of the time is just like collecting all the knowledge that you know, and it's very important that you have this knowledge collection. So I am gonna go ahead and write collector here, but it's definitely a subset of them. So you can sort of see by like analyzing these questions how they give you a subset of things that you can start relying on when you're feeling down or you're feeling burnt out or you're feeling unhappy. You want to rely on these play personalities and set aside time to do something that you find fun and also to integrate these into your productivity to make the everyday acts you have to do more fun. I mentioned in a previous video that I like to listen to new albums when I clean. So I'll often clean, and if I'm listening to like an old album, I'll find it boring. But if I'm listening to a new album that I've never heard before, I find it a lot more engaging. So that's kind of explorer-y of me, right? I'm listening to something new, something novel. That's just one example of how you can integrate everything together. If you want more examples of how you can integrate things together, like I think I'm a storyteller, how do I integrate that into my day job as an engineer or something? Like, let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to brainstorm with you guys. And let me know what your answers to these questions are. I would love to know exactly how you feel like, you know, what you did as a kid. Does that relate to how you express fun as an adult? I'd love to know. So let me know down in the comments. I think it could be super fun.
Once you know your play personality, you want to use it in two ways. First, you want to set aside some dedicated time to engage with the type of play you like to do. No productivity required. Second, you want to integrate your play personality into your productivity routine. For example, the creator might get a lot out of decorative journaling. The competitor might try to do all of their tasks in under an hour, or the kinesthete might get a lot out of using a standing desk at work. Eventually, you could even find a job, project, or goal that activates one or more of your play personalities so that the very work you do lights you up and helps you feel fulfilled. If you want more info about how to integrate play into your everyday productivity routine, check out the video I have right here next to my head on the screen that goes a little bit more into detail on that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. I will see you guys in the next one.